Ayaan was born in the shadow of giants. Towering, snow-capped peaks loomed large over his small village, their presence both majestic and menacing. The villagers kept their distance, whispering tales of lost souls and unforgiving blizzards.
But I was different. I didn't fear the mountains, I was drawn to them.
From his earliest memories, Ayaan would spend hours staring up at the peaks, his heart filled with a longing he couldn't explain. He would collect stones, pretending they were miniature mountains, dreaming of the day he would stand on their real summits. He knew deep down that the mountains held a secret that called to him.
Why waste your time with these dangerous dreams? Focus on what's real, on what will help you survive.
But Ayaan couldn't let go. He clung to his mantra, whispered like a prayer.
If I can conquer the peak, I can conquer my life.
One day, a stranger arrived in the village. He was a mountaineer, his weathered face and calloused hands speaking of countless adventures. He spoke of distant lands, of conquering impossible heights, and his eyes sparkled with the thrill of the climb.
I was mesmerized. I hung on the mountaineer's every word, my heart pounding with a newfound excitement.
The stranger stayed in the village for a few days, sharing stories and repairing his gear. Ayaan was his shadow, absorbing every detail. He learned about ropes and ice axes, about acclimatization and the importance of mental fortitude. He saw pictures of the mountaineer standing triumphantly on peaks that seemed to touch the sky.
The mountains test us, but they also reveal our true selves. Never stop climbing, young one. The summit is just the beginning.
As the stranger left, Ayaan gripped the ice axe, his resolve solidifying. He knew what he had to do. He would climb. Ayaan's journey wouldn't be easy. He lived in poverty, surrounded by doubt, but his spirit was unbreakable. He started small, climbing the foothills, his homemade rope and wooden staff his only companions. He trained relentlessly, pushing his body and mind, fueled by his unwavering determination.
To earn money for proper gear, I took on odd jobs. I chopped wood, carried heavy loads, and saved every rupee. I learned to mend shoes, bartering my services for scraps of leather and metal to improve my makeshift climbing tools.
His days were long, filled with backbreaking work and grueling training, but every muscle ache, every blister, brought him one step closer to his dream. Years passed, and Ayaan transformed. He wasn't just a boy who dreamt of mountains anymore. He was strong, resilient, a climber forged in the crucible of hard work and unwavering belief. He set his sights on the highest peak in the range, the one the villagers called the Sleeping Giant. It was the most feared, the most challenging, and the most alluring.
I was ready. I would awaken the giant. The climb was even more treacherous than I imagined. I battled howling winds that threatened to rip me from the mountainside. Ice-covered slopes became treacherous traps, and blinding snowstorms turned the world into a white abyss. I faced rockfalls, altitude sickness, and moments of crippling self-doubt.
One particularly harrowing day, Ayaan found himself caught in an avalanche. He clung desperately to his ice axe, his body battered by the cascading snow. Fear threatened to consume him, but then he remembered his mantra.
If I can conquer the peak, I can conquer my life.
He dug himself out, bruised and exhausted, but alive. As he ascended, Ayaan stumbled upon a stranded climber, injured and delirious from altitude sickness. Despite his own exhaustion, Ayaan knew he couldn't leave the man to die.
Thank you. I thought I was done for.
He shared his meager supplies, stabilized the injured climber, and helped him descend to safety. In helping another, Ayaan discovered a strength he never knew he possessed. It was the strength of compassion, of selflessness, and it pushed him onward. Finally, after days that felt like lifetimes, Ayaan stood before the final ascent. The air was thin, the summit wreathed in icy mist. He took a deep breath, gathering his remaining strength, and started his final push.
Every muscle screamed in protest. Every fiber of my being yearned for rest. But I pushed on, driven by years of yearning, by the echoes of doubt I had silenced, by the memory of the climber I had saved. And then, I was there.
Ayaan stood on the summit of the Sleeping Giant as the first rays of dawn kissed the snow-capped peaks. A wave of emotion washed over him, relief, exhilaration, and a profound sense of peace. He had done it. He had conquered the mountain, and in doing so, he had conquered himself. The view was breathtaking, a sea of clouds stretching to the horizon, the world bathed in the soft glow of sunrise. But for Ayaan, the most beautiful sight was the journey reflected in his own eyes. Ayaan's return to the village was nothing short of a hero's welcome. The villagers, once doubtful, now looked at him with awe and admiration. His story spread like wildfire, inspiring hope and ambition in the hearts of young and old alike.
I was no longer just a poor boy from a forgotten village. I was a symbol of what could be achieved with courage, determination, and an unyielding belief in oneself.
He used his newfound platform to give back to his community. With the support of sponsors and fellow climbers, Ayaan established a mountaineering training center in his village. He wanted to share the transformative power of the mountains with others, to empower them to reach for their own summits. The center became a beacon of hope, attracting aspiring climbers from surrounding villages and beyond.
I taught them not just the technical skills of climbing, but also the importance of perseverance, teamwork, and respect for the mountains.
He proved that the greatest mountains are not conquered with ropes and ice axes alone, but with the strength of our hearts and the resilience of our spirits. Ayaan's journey, etched in stone and snow, became a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides within us all, waiting to be awakened.